I I need to tell you something, and I need you to actually listen to it because I wish, I really wish somebody had told me when I was your age. I'm not your parent, I'm not your teacher. I'm not gonna give you some boring lecture about responsibility or tell you you need to study harder or whatever things that you already know, right? But this is different. Like, this is the things I wish somebody had sat me down and explained and given me examples when I was your age. Not like obvious stuff, but things that you don't realize until you've lived through these years and come out the other side a different person. Like, a lot of adults tend to forget the things they've actually gone through, right? And they kind of just brush it off. But we forget what it's like to be in your position. You are in this weird place, right? You're not a young kid anymore, but you're not in control of your life yet. You can see the person you might become, but you're stuck being the person you are right now. And you don't actually know if you're going to become that person that you want to become. Everything feels huge and small at the same time, right? You can't get away with a lot of the things you used to be able to get away with anymore, but at the same time, you can't control your life the way you want. So I'm going to share a few lessons that I learned too late, right? I learned too late and almost too late, or just in time. You don't have to believe me, but somewhere in the back of your mind, I hope you take something away from this video, because you might need it sooner than you think. So the first lesson is that being kind is free, right? Having empathy is free, but setting boundaries and loving people from a distance is equally as important, right? Let me explain what I mean. When you're a teenager, there's this unspoken rule that you have to pick a side, right? So let's say you get into some drama with your friends or whatever, and now there's like two people and you're friends with both of them, and now you have to pick a side. But you're nice, right? So either you can be nice, which people can interpret as weak or being a pushover, and you try to, like, be neutral and listen, hear both sides out, unless one of them is like genuinely evil. In that case, that doesn't apply here, okay? Either, or you're strong, which people interpret as being cold or not caring or having your walls up, right? But that's a false choice. Let me explain right now that kindness actually costs you nothing, right? Empathy costs you nothing. Seeing someone struggling and thinking that must be hard instead of, that's their problem, that's free, right? Saying something nice when you could just easily say nothing, or just even saying something mean. Choosing not to laugh when a lot of other people are laughing at someone. Noticing when someone is having a bad day. That is life-changing, right? When you're 13 to 17, like, you will have feelings of doubt. You will wish that someone out there is, hoping. When you're 13 to 17, you will have these sad feelings, these feelings of self-doubt. You want someone to be there for you. If everyone was kind to each other, the world would move a lot better. But they're not, okay? But kindness starts one person at a time. And I know it sounds corny. It does sound corny. And it may be corny. But nobody cares what's corny or not after 2 minutes, right? No one cares. You are in high school and a lot of people's attention spans are shot. Nobody has an attention span anymore, so nobody cares, okay? And you can use that to your advantage. These tiny acts of humanity cost you nothing, but they accumulate, right? They build the kind of person you eventually should aspire to be. And eventually, who you are when nobody is watching becomes you all the time. But there's this part that people always leave out, right? There's nuance to this. You can still be kind. Okay, being kind doesn't mean letting other people walk all over you and drain you. Yeah? There are people right now in your life who take more than they give. These are called energy vampires, right? They only text you when they need something. They trauma dump all over you, but whenever you need something, they disappear. They make you feel responsible for their happiness, their problems, and their emotional state. And because you're kind and because you have empathy, you feel guilty for wanting distance from them. Do not do that. You can care about somebody and still need space from them. You can hope someone gets better, and not be the one to help them. You can love people from a distance. Okay? That's not cruel. That's survival for your mental state and your emotional state, which is very fragile when you're a teenager. Okay? So here's what this looks like in practice. You can be kind to everyone, right? You don't judge people. You know, you never know what they're going through. But you don't owe anyone your time, right? Or your energy. You don't have to solve everybody's problems because you have your own problems. You can love people without burning with them in the room that they're burning in. Okay? You can try to help them. But if they want to stay in that room, you do not have to kill yourself trying to save them. See how that works? So be kind, have empathy, and set boundaries. Okay? All 3. Lesson 2. Start taking risks. Stop overthinking and close the gap between what you're thinking and what you're doing, right? So we all have that thing we wanted to do. We all wanted to start a hobby. We wanted to talk to that person, that project we wanted to start, that trip you wanted to take, that apology you wanted to make, the truth you wanted to speak. Do it. Say it. Whatever. Just do it, okay? You have probably been thinking about it for weeks, months, even years. There are things that I have been wanting to do since I was 8. I have not done them yet because I keep thinking about them. So here's what is happening, right? You are stuck in the simulation phase. You're running these scenarios in your head, all right? A lot of people do that, okay? And here's the truth, right? If you're thinking about something and you're not actually doing it, right? Or you're pretending you're gonna do something, that's delusional. That's delusional. You're stalling, all right? You're researching, you're planning, you're being careful, you're being stuck. You're not doing anything, okay? And that's called delusional. Being delusional. You're stalling. There's a difference between caution and cowardice, right? Between thoughtfulness and paralysis, because you don't want to start because you're too scared to start, right? What you're calling being careful is actually fear, right? You're scared of starting. And it's reasonable. Everyone is scared to do something, right? But the people that make a difference, that end up making a difference in this world, they are the risk takers. They know they might fail. There's a high chance they might fail. And they do it anyways. And that's respectable. Okay. And the moment you go from thinking to doing, everything changes, right? Not because doing guarantees success, but because it gives you information that thinking never can, right? It can teach you things, even if you fail. Failure teaches you things. Like, for example, you might think about asking someone out, but you only imagine rejection. But when you actually ask that person out, you might get real data. Like, they might say yes, or they say no, or maybe they're flattered but not interested. Or, they're just not interested in a relationship right now. All these outcomes can teach you something, right? The imaginary rejection teaches you nothing except drills more fear into you. And then that can bleed into other aspects of your life. When you think about writing that novel, or, starting that YouTube channel, or learning that instrument, you imagine yourself being bad at it and everybody judging you. But when you actually start, most people are very supportive, right? Most people aren't paying attention. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Hang on. When you actually start, you discover that most people aren't actually paying attention. And the few that are, most of them are actually quite supportive. And some of them are jealous, right? Some of them are jealous, but stop caring about those people that are jealous, okay? Because at the end of the day, there's always going to be people out there that prey on your downfall. But guess what? At the same time, if you focus on the people who support you instead of your haters, you're going to do fine. You're going to do fine. And a lot of people, you might actually inspire these people to start their own thing, right? So something they don't tell you is that most successful people aren't smarter than you. They're not more talented, right? Like, just think about some rich people out there, right? I don't, like, Elon Musk. Jeff Bezos, like, I don't like them as people, but I do respect they have their dedication, right? I don't respect how they made their money. I'm sorry, I don't. But they did. They did. I partake in it every single day, right? I partake in capitalism, consumerism. Unfortunately, I wish I couldn't, but I do, right? We kind of have to. But that just means we also have to work equally as hard, right? Everybody has their special gifts, their special talent. They just need to start, and that moment is now. So think about it. Like, what have you been putting off, right? What risk have you been too scared to take? Now imagine yourself at 25, 35, 45. What do you think you're going to regret more? Not trying or failing? You already know the answer. There are people on their deathbeds that wish they did something, but they never did. You don't want to end up like that, right? Remember, like, you only live once. Do it. Do it. You're going to die one day. Those people are going to die one day. Do it. Lesson 3. Stop chasing validation from people you don't care about. And vice versa, right? Stop giving validation to people who don't care about you. That's the social validation trap, right? This one's gonna hurt a little bit, so bear with me, right? How much of your time is spent thinking about what other people think of you? How many times a day do you check, I don't know, if somebody liked your post, responded to your message, viewed your story? How many decisions do you make based on how they will look to the people around you? Because the people around you ask themselves that same question while not giving a flying frick about you, right? So here's the uncomfortable truth. You are trying to win a popularity contest you didn't sign up for. You are competing for approval from people you don't like. Trying to win a prize that means nothing, right? Think about the people whose opinions you're worried about. Really think about them. Like actually, rationally. Do you respect them? Do you admire them? Do you actually want to be like them? Or are they just there? Are they just taking up space in your head because they're loud, they're visible, or because everybody else seems to care what they think, right? You're spending your finite energy right now, your creativity, your authentic self, trying to impress people you don't even want to sit with at lunch. You are shapeshifting to fit into places you don't want to be in. And guess what? You're not going to even talk to these people in 4 years. Less than 4 years if you're past freshman year. And the cruelest part is that sometimes it works just enough to keep you hooked, right? Someone you barely know likes your post and you feel good for 10 seconds, less than 10 seconds. Someone popular acknowledges you and you feel seen. You get invited to something, and even though you don't really want to go, the invitation itself feels like proof that you matter. But it should. You do matter because you're a human being. You matter because you bring things to this world that no one else can, okay? Dang. But the high that you get from these like things that don't matter, they always fade, and you need another hit. You always need another hit. And this one kind of ties back into the one we just talked about. Like, the people's opinions, like, they influence you on what you're trying to do. Like, you don't start things because you're afraid you're going to get judged, right? And there's another version of this trap on the other side. You're giving validation to people who don't deserve it because you think it's nice, because you think it's supportive, because everybody else is doing it. You're commenting, like, you know, fire emojis on posts you actually don't think are fire. You're just saying we should hang out to people you don't want to hang out with because, you know, you want to be nice. You want to be well liked, right? You're supporting people's bad decisions because you don't want to be the one that tells them the truth. But this doesn't do anything, right? It just trains everyone, including yourself, to value appearance over reality. It creates a world where everyone is performing and nobody is actually connecting, right? So here's a shift. Stop optimizing for the crowd, right? Start optimizing for like the 10 people who actually matter to you, right? Whether that be your family or your close friends. Or if you don't even have a close group of friends, form one. Find people who you actually like and stick with them, because these people will probably have your back more than anyone else, right? And those people, right, give them your full attention, your real thoughts. Don't tell them everything, for obvious reasons, but like, just, these are the people who are going to see you at your worst, right? Who don't leave, who text you when you need it, who you respond to because you want to, right? Like, these are the people who call and you want to answer them. Everybody else gets your kindness and your respect and your politeness, your human decency, but they don't get your energy, right? They don't get your performance. They don't get the real you. The real you is not a public resource, right? It's not a renewable energy. That's why people have social batteries. You can't give that to everyone and still have enough left for the people you like, even for yourself, right? And this is what happens when you make this shift. You stop being so tired all the time. You stop wondering why you have 500 followers, but this person has 1,000, and you feel completely alone. You are starting to build real relationships instead of collecting hollow ones, fake ones. And the people who are meant to find you will find you, because you're going to stop hiding behind the version of yourself you think everybody wants to see. Okay, lesson 4. Don't take people for granted and cherish the time you have with the people you love. Okay, tell them you love them. This is a lesson you don't think you need till it's too late, right? Right now, there's people in your life who feel permanent. You got your best friends, your parents, your grandparents, your childhood friends, your siblings, that one teacher who gets you. You don't say thank you enough, right? Because you feel like they're permanent. You don't tell them what they mean to you because it feels awkward or unnecessary, or because you figure they already know, right? But the thing is about permanence, right? Permanence is an illusion. People move, people change, people drift apart, people get sick, people die. And when that happens, you don't get a chance to go back and say the things that should have been said, right? I'm not trying to be morbid. I'm trying to wake you up to something that people don't realize until it's too late. The time you have with the people you love is finite. You don't know how finite. No one does. Nobody knows when they're gonna drift apart, when they get sick, when they move, when they croak. So stop treating the important people in your life like they're always gonna be in it. Don't take them for granted, right? There's not gonna be a better time to have that conversation, to say that thing, or to spend that time together. So I want you to do this next part soon, right? Think about at least 5 people in your life who have big impact on you. The people who shaped you, supported you, loved you, even when you thought you could never be loved. And you tell them, like, don't be vague, like, thanks for everything. Because that kind of gets them scared, especially if you're depressed. Don't be vague, right? Tell them the moment you remember, the thing that they said that changed how you felt. The time they showed up for you when you felt like nobody did, or when you felt like you weren't worthy for them, right? It's gonna feel awkward. It's gonna cry. They might not even know how to respond. Do it anyways. You can talk to them. Write a letter for them. Anything. If you're not like a verbal person, if you don't feel awkward to say it in real life, write them a letter, right? Because they're gonna keep it. They're gonna read it. If you're not a letter writer, make them a video. Because here's what happens when you do this, right? You're going to feel vulnerable. You're also going to feel lighter. You're going to realize that expressing love isn't weakness. It's one of the bravest things you can do. And that person that you're saying it to, they're going to carry you with them for forever, right? You have no idea how much it might mean to them to hear that they've made such an impact on you. People don't forget when you tell them they matter. They don't forget when you're so specific about it and why. They don't forget that you took the time out of your day to say out loud what people, including them, only think, right? You'll have said it, right? Even if something happens, they move away. Life takes you in different directions. If the worst, God forbid, if the worst happens, you won't have to live with the regret of silence. We've all seen those stories where 2 family members get into a big argument. One of them screams, "I hate you," and a few hours later, the other one dies. And the last thing that person said to this person was, "I hate you," and they regret it for the rest of their life. Do not do that, okay? Don't wait for a crisis to tell the people you love them. Don't wait for a funeral to say they meant that, they meant a lot to you. Don't take the people who've been there for granted because they've always been there, right? Say it now, say it often, and say it while you can. Okay, lesson 5. Take care of your mental and physical health, because you're not invincible. You're human. You don't want to hear this because you always hear this. You think you have all the time in the world. So did I. So did I. You feel invincible right now. Like you're on top of the world. Like you're always going to be on top of the world. You are not going to be always on top of the world, right? How you treat your body right now matters, right? There are 30-year-olds out there whose knees don't work, right? Who's always in back pain, even in their 20s because of how they were in their teens. You don't want to be that person, right? And I'm talking a lot about physical health right now, but I'm also not neglecting your mental health, right? Take care of that too. You think you're borrowing from your future self right now. You think you'll pay it back when your life is more established, when you have more time. But here's what actually happens, right? That sleep that you're not getting because you're pulling all-nighters when you're actually not pulling all-nighters, and you're spending most of your time scrolling. Who said that? Okay. That sleep that you don't get, you're gonna get chronic insomnia. Okay? God forbid you actually do. You might get it. The junk food that you're eating right now, it can become a habit, right? You can gain a lot of weight, okay? And you're going to get a lot of health issues because of that weight loss. And I'm not being fat phobic. I am not being fat phobic, I swear to God. It's your body, right? You can do what you want with it, but you need to establish healthy eating habits, right? Because the more you eat, right? Especially if you eat unhealthy and you start eating more and more, it's going to come with you into adulthood, right? It's not gonna, when you're an adult, your body isn't as good as you were when you were a teen, right? So you need to make those habits now. The stress that you're ignoring will also follow you into adulthood. The feelings that you're pushing down turns into depression and lots of self-worth issues, right? I'm not saying you need to be perfect, right? You don't need to become a health influencer or meditate for an hour every day. You don't need to do that. You really don't. And you don't have to not eat pizza either. But moderation is key, all right? You need to moderate yourself. So pay attention to how you eat. Pay attention to how you feel after you eat. How different amounts of sleep affects your mood, affects your tiredness. Like, pay attention to what happens when you move your body versus when you don't. Pay attention to the difference between, being alone and just being lonely, right? Your body tells you what it needs. Your mind can tell you when it's overwhelmed, right? That burnout you're experiencing right now isn't just teenage stress that everyone has gone through. It's your mind telling you that something needs to change, and it needs to change now, right? The physical pain that you're ignoring, like your headaches, your migraines, your stomach issues, your constant fatigue, that's your body trying to communicate, right? It's not normal to feel like that. Your body is trying to tell you that it needs something, right? Whether it's food, water. Lots of people don't hydrate enough. So water, sleep, all that, right? That's the social battery that is always empty too. The anxiety that becomes your baseline. The sadness you can't figure out, right? Those aren't just moods, those are messages, right? Something is going on in your life and it's causing your brain, your mental health issues too, right? And the hardest part is that no one's going to force you to take care of yourself. Your parents might nag you, your teachers might notice, your friends are going to worry, but at the end of the day, they can't make you do anything that you don't want to do. I can't make you do anything that you don't want to do. I'm trying to tell you, right? I'm trying to educate you, but at the end of the day, it's your body. It's up to you. It's your choice on what you're going to do or not. So here's what taking care of yourself might look like, right? It's different for everyone depending on their preferences. But, going to bed instead of scrolling for 3 more hours, even though you're not that tired yet. Drinking water even when you don't feel like it, because by the time you feel thirsty, sometimes it's too late. Moving your body, not because you hate how you look, but because it feels good to use it, right? It's a privilege to be able to exercise. It's asking for help when you're struggling instead of pretending you're fine, right? Go to that school guidance counselor. Go to your friends. Go talk to a trusted adult. It's saying no to things that drain you, even when people are disappointed, because it's you at the end of the day, right? It's you. It's no one else. You're living life for you. It's learning the difference between productive stress and like bad stress, destructive stress, different things. Treating yourself with the same kindness that you know that you'd want to be shown when you're going through something. Whether you're going through something or not, just be kind, right? Being kind attracts kindness. So that's the truth, is that like the person you are at 25 is being built by the person you are right now, right? The habits you form now, the way you treat people now, the patterns you establish now, those become the foundation of everything else that comes next. You can rebuild a foundation later. People do it all the time, but it's so much more time consuming, right? It's so much harder than building it right the first time, right? You're not wasting time by taking care of yourself. You're not being dramatic by acknowledging that you're struggling, okay? You need to take care of yourself. Do not waste these years. You're being smart. You're being strategic. You're being someone who understands that you can't show up to your life if you're running on it emptily, okay? Don't waste your years right now by treating them and your body like it's disposable, because it's not. Okay, so right now you're at this strange, intersection in your life, right? Like most of you don't have rent to pay. Like right now, for most of you, lots of your necessities are being taken care of, right? But the things that can't be taken care of are up to you, right? You can become someone different starting right now. You can build habits that will serve you well into the future. You understand right now that your choices matter, but you're not in full control of your life, right? You can see the future approaching, but you're still living in the present, and that's a superpower if you use it right, okay? You can do whatever you want, okay? You can drift, you can wait, you can waste your years performing, people chasing, people pleasing, overthinking, whatever. But know that your future self is watching, right? They're hoping that you make the choices that they'll thank you for later. No one's going to force you to do what you don't want to do, right? Only you can tell yourself what you want to do. These years go faster than you think, right? People go faster than you think. Permanence is an illusion. People tell you this all the time, but you won't understand it unless you really lived through it, right? And sometimes living through this kind of stuff really, really hurts. It really does hurt, right? So I'm telling you some of this stuff to make it easier on you. It's up to you if you decide to take it or not.